rational, but even there's a cost to that and there's a time to that. But they're able to, and this is amazing technology for all cannabis breeders and growers. Basically, what they're doing is they are taking small samples of leaf tissue and they're running their assay, which looks at 10 data points, like 10 alleles on the DNA helix. And so rather than fully DNA like fingerprinting the whole genome, they're just looking at 10 points. So that protects the IP of the breeder. So they're not looking, they can't reproduce this. They don't know exactly what all of the data points are. But with 10 data points, the 10 specific ones they look at, it's a 1 in 5 million accuracy of it being a unique phenotype. So that de facto makes it like, it's a unique ID. Now with that, you can not only like register for plant breeders' rights, but you can assure that the clones that you're making or selling or shipping are exactly what it is you're selling. And also, if you are a breeder and you want to license some genetics to a group because it's your IP and you have it protected, well, if they start propagating outside of license, it's actually enforceable because with even dry flower, we can test the DNA of a plant, right? So all the way through the value chain from a clone of flower, all the way through, we can test if it's that specific cultivar and then enforce the contracts that we have. So for making selections from seed, it's very valuable because you can get the same phenotype will be reoccurring, obviously, in a lot of seeds. So you can take a lot, germinate them all, find the ones that you think you like, and then validate that they're the same plant. And then you can sort them and start with a larger population than just having, what my plan to do is just have one plant that we grow up for months to make a commercial volume. It's just time, time's money.
Okay, quick question.
A lot of those older, genotypes, that the effect from them was up, not down.
It's so beautiful. They were inspirational. They were
totally
just day brightening, life enhancing.
Clean your garage.
Yeah.
Write that email you've been putting off. Whereas some of the modern cannabis, it's so depressing that it's not conducive to like an active lifestyle or like a contributing member of the household and the family. Like it's so I definitely agree with you that bringing back some of these retro I call them retro varieties is going to have not only like a marketability because people remember those names, but once they try them, that's where we'll get some brand loyalty happening because again, I like to feel up and good, right?
Yeah.
In the evening, maybe I go down, just go in the other direction, but I generally like to consume plants. The stereotype is like sativa, which I hate that distinction of indica sativa. All of these plants are hybrids. The only like true land races, none of them are really commercially viable. They produce really weird flowers, not high yields, or interesting plants to grow. And there's some people like resurrecting these landrace sativas out there. But in general, all the commercial varieties that we grow are hybrids. And even in the countries of origin, most of the plants that are there, unless they're in the wild, are hybrids. So to call something indica or sativa and relate the effect of those plants to that designation doesn't make any sense to me. It's basically like, does your plant need 3 layers of trellis or not? Is what I hear when somebody says sativa or indica. So it's really because, and also we have like high THC lemon flavored plants that are indicas, and we have high THC lemon flavored plants that are sativa. So which is the one that you think is making the uplifting effect that you associate or have been indoctrinated to associate with sativa? None of it is correlated in my opinion. So I prefer to use the term just like cannabis.
Well, you're going to find a lot of beautiful flavors due to the beautiful different terpenes as well. The terpenes obviously got a lot of different therapeutic effect, which contribute to the experience. So that's the other good thing. These genetics in a nutshell, they contain like a wide spectrum of all the old terpenes and cannabinoids that used to exist pre-90s that's got bred out through trying to select breeding for high THC only that we've been talking about,
Yeah, and just looks too. Well, a lot of it was just looks, and looks are not always
phenomenal
the best,
diversity in them packs, man. That I just want you to see. That's cool that you're doing these skunk haze, but when you get to pop, I don't know, 100 or 200 pheno hunters, then then you'll see a whole range of different skunks, different hazes. You're going to find lots of fruits. There's like all kinds of different. It's just
It's going to be
wild, man.
100. It's going to be 100 different plants.
Well, there were 60 different mothers. There were 60 different
Okay.
mothers pollinated by one male. One classic skunk male pollinated whole bunch of hazes, skunks, different skunks, some fruity ones, just anything that I considered that was unique and different to what was available today. I kept, anything that was unique in some way or special in some way, I kept with the females, and I just pollinated a lot with that one male. And so,
Cool.
yeah, there's a huge range of diversity. It's a treasure trove of genetics, man. All from the
Yeah.
late 60s to the mid 90s from old-timer one's work.
And
So
that's
he
actually
made some
why
great selections.
that's listings have already been taken. So the board will say, "Oh, I'm full for sherbet," or "I'm full for Kush." We already have we already have two listings of that variety or a similar variety, so we can't take that because we're full for that. And so you can spend months and months and months getting your license, growing your favorite clone from the black market. Then you finally get in, you finally get it produced. You get to the finish line, you have your COA in hand, and you go talk to the distributors, and they say, we're good. So it's kind of like having
Yeah.
unique phenotypes and unique varieties that have good effect and good numbers is the only way to be successful now at this stage of legal cannabis. Because again, it's just like once the distributors are full for one variety, they're looking to delist things in many cases, right? If they're not moving fast enough, like the bottom 5% doesn't get relisted. Doesn't matter if you have good throughput, if it's just like not enough volume to justify them to continually relist it. The distributors have become very selective on what they will onboard, which is challenging to say the least. So unique things like retro stuff is a really good advantage that we're stoked to embark on.
Well, it is like a new unexplored gene pool, really. It's pretty much privately held by Oldtimer One for decades, and then I completely opened up that gene pool and put it out there and made it available because, well, I mean, like you're going to see when you do go through those Pheno Hunters, you're going to see just some really special things that is so different to anything really of this century, this last 20 odd years. It's like a time capsule, really, and it's a lot of it is that pre-eradication era too, where the feds basically went around the world destroying crops, and it was never quite the same after. But he's got everything really from the late 60s and through the 70s, and yeah, he had just absolutely phenomenal library, but he did by and large keep it to himself, which on one hand is good for us now, but if I hadn't obtained it and done that work with it, then it would have kind of died with him because he's dead now. Rest in peace, Oldtimer One. But yeah, he was never
And that
really too concerned with putting it out there. But thank God he did keep it all private and pure because we would not have the skunks back now otherwise, or all these other
yeah.
incredible things.
And that's one of the cases actually for open pollination, because if you're looking to just proliferate the gene pool of one gus, how do we make more of those types that we've characterized? And as you know, the roadkill and a couple other terp towns, we have initiated into tissue culture. We are multiplying, and those will be available for license internationally to licensed producers. So with
Awesome.
Segra as our partner and the DNA fingerprinting, we've already have your varieties. I think it's 6 of them registered. And I think this fall, they have to get the numbers really big before they can start hardening and commercializing. But this fall, I believe I'll be receiving some of the ones that were characterized already to do a further validation on, and then they'll be available for sale to any legal territory globally,
Cool.
basically,
So they
just not the
found the
U.S.
roadkill pheno already.
I believe so. Yeah, yeah. There's 2
Nice,
roadkill
nice.
skunks, and the one was like really, really skunky. They said so. That's why I want to validate it. I'm gonna as soon as there's cuts available, I'm gonna grow a couple out for myself. They are clones, so it's obviously very consistent. But
I've
using
found
tissue
something
culture,
that's I found something looking very promising at the moment. Well, more than one thing very promising at the moment with my current run. So I'm going to have to try and get a cutting of that out to you and then onto further things because
just
yeah, I
have
found some
Santa Claus bring
super
it.
nice. I'm going to send you some pictures actually when I get back there tomorrow.
Sure, just have Santa Claus send it. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
He'll come down the chimney. Nobody will even know he's there. Perfect. Yeah, so I mean the whole cannabis game, it's changed a lot. Like it's used to be plywood boxes and shitty lights and just like, using outside air and no even we didn't even use air conditioners back in the day. We just vent, and in the summertime we would shut in data. It was weird. They've continued to like cause problems, and I'm not like I'm trying to like avoid. I generally avoid conflict, and I don't know why there's groups in business that go seeking it out. It's just insane. So I'm trying to like, you are the sum of your peer group, and so I'm trying to make sure that everybody that I associate with is adding a positive element to my mental and physical health, right? And once you come like this bit of enlightenment there, right? But once you realize that, oh, these are toxic personalities and that's not working for me, and you do that personal development and that kind of hard work to realize what it takes to be a better person, like I don't
Well,
know,
you've moved
everything
on to
gets
better
easier.
things. You've moved
Yeah.
on to a better place, and we've had some success because when you did have those issues with those last idiots, I was like, oh shit, maybe like things have been lost. But no, man, we've got something out there now, so that's positive.
It's
What
actually
what
better. Yeah.
what did they find? Do you know what they found besides roadkill? Did they find that was something fruity or a hazy? What else did they select?
I didn't see the terpene COA, but there was three from the terp town and two from the skunks that they selected. So, and
Okay.
I do have um I think maybe I did see the COAs. I didn't see the actual COAs, but I did see the DNA fingerprints that they were unique. So that's what's really
Okay.
important too, is that they like when they do the DNA fingerprinting, they correlate that to the COA, and then now you have a unique variety, and
Nice.
so that's really powerful. And so, like I said, this fall I'm going to receive one or two or three cuts of each and just grow them out in a little corner just to get another follow-up terpene analysis, and then we can go from there and have it's nice to have more than one COA, right? Like it's not one data point is good, but multiple is great because you can
Yeah.
start to see like a pattern, and this doesn't have to be like exactly exact, but most generally what we look for is the same dominant terpenes are the same dominant terpenes in order ish. Otherwise, that there might be some tomfoolery happening, right? Of things not being
Yeah.
what they say they are. But again, having these technologies now makes things a lot easier. But we still like to start from one plant. I think it's really
Yeah.
important is one plant, one plant, one plant. When you start propagating, cut from multiple plants initially, you problems.